Welcome back. In this video, we are going to show you how to use webhooks for notifications in Genius Messenger CRM. Pretty excited to show you because we can actually do some really cool things with this. So first of all, I want to mention, if you are not familiar yet with webhooks or with Zapier and you haven't watched the previous video on webhooks, go watch that first because I go through all of the steps slowly. In this video, we are going to repeat some of those steps, and I'm just going to fly through this to keep it as short and sweet as possible. But first of all, notifications, what do I mean exactly? Well, as you can see, I'm sharing my Messenger inbox. I'm in a conversation here with one of my contacts. Then if we go to the little G icon in the bottom right corner, we have our quick notes, we have our canned responses, additional contact details, but also notifications, this little bell icon. And as you will be able to see, it also gives us the option to select a webhook. Now, I haven't created this specific webhook that I want to show you today, and I did that on purpose so that we can do this together. I can take you through the entire process. So in order to do so, I am going to head into my Zapier account first. I am going to create a new Zap. And again, this Zap will start with a webhook by Zapier. We're going to catch hook again. Press continue. Copy the webhook URL. Copy the webhook URL, and then we are going to head into Genius Messenger CRM webhooks, create webhook, notifications. I'm going to paste that URL, add. As you can see, it has been added. Now, what's next? To continue this Zap, we need to be able to test the trigger, but we haven't done anything on the Messenger CRM side of things, so it won't recognize any data. So I'm going to head back into my Messenger inbox, notifications, and actually set up a notification. I'm going to name this brainstorming session. Then the email. Now, this could be your lead's email, but I highly recommend to, instead of filling that out here, making sure you have filled it out here with the additional contact details, because whatever information we are going to enter right here is only going to trigger this webhook and complete the steps and the actions we tell it to do, but it won't be saved here. So let's say you want to book a follow-up call the next day, or you want to set up a different event next week. You will not have the email saved here. So you have to scroll back up into your conversation to find that email address. Well, if it's here, it will recognize it on any Zap, and it will always be there for you to find it. Now, what you can do, you can either re-enter that email address here, or you can add your own email address because maybe you want to send yourself that notification or invite as well, or whatever type of Zap we are going to be setting up, right? So I am going to add one of my email addresses right here. And then I am going to pick a date for this notification or this event. I'm going to set it to Monday next week, and the time to 10 a.m. Okay. Now select webhook. I'm going to select notifications. It could very well be that it does not show up here yet, and you will need to refresh your page once first in order for it to recognize the newly created or newly saved webhook. Then you can add a message right here. And you can add any other details that you need to remember or want to send to your leads or anything that could be important to you. I'm going to leave it with this for demonstration purposes, and I'm going to click add. Now let's go into Zapier and test our trigger. As you can see, it now immediately picked up the data, subject, my email, the notification date and time, my leads contact information, first name, last name, the message, their email address, their phone number, everything that I've saved to those additional contact details, all the information we need. So now I can press continue. And then I can decide what I want to do with this information. Where do I want to send this information? And possibilities are endless, really. There's hundreds of possibilities. We can send the information into a Google Sheet, into Slack, maybe set up a Calendly event. For this video, I am going to choose Google Calendar. And we need to select which Google Calendar, of course. So let's see. First, what type of event or what do I want to create or do inside Google Calendar? I want to create a detailed event, but again, so many options, right? Just to show you what's possible. Now I need to choose the Google Calendar account. If you have more, you need to select the one you want to add it to. Continue. Setting up the action. Choose the calendar, my main calendar. Then we can add a summary and a description as well. So you can use the data that you have entered as a notification, and then each and every time you set a similar notification with the same webhook, it will pick up the data from that same place. So from the message, for example, I might want to add that. If you haven't typed anything like this out or a very long message, you could also choose the subject, type with, and add the person's name. You can even add the date as well. I'm going to leave that out for now, but you get the idea. Now the description, we can add anything we want to the description. And if we type it out here, it will take that same text every time this app runs. If we choose the fields that it is getting from Genius Messenger, that of course will be replaced with the next person's name, the right email address, etc. But in this case, I may want to set up a calendar event for a Zoom call. So what I can do, if I have a recurring meeting ID or recurring meeting link, I could even add the Zoom link here already. I copy and paste it once, and then each and every time I set new notifications for this specific reason, it will always send the Zoom link with it, right? So I haven't memorized my Zoom link, to be honest. I'm not going to find it to copy it either. I'm sure you'll get the idea. So I'm just going to type something here. I'm going to say brainstorming Zoom session. Please click the link below to join the meeting. And I'm just going to type made up Zoom link. Now for the location, I can also add that same link in case people don't check the description or the location. Either way, just to be safe, extra clear, there it is again. Now, add conferencing, that's another option you could choose for Google Meet or Google Hangout. The start date and time is required, so we want to pick that up from here. Let me find that. I need to scroll down a little bit. Let me see where that information is. Notification date and time. Now, with a Google Calendar event, the end date and time is also required. Now, we don't really have that, do we? So what I'm going to do instead is, again, find the date, notification date and time. And let me see, I'm not quite sure if this is going to work, but I'm going to give it a try. Otherwise, I need to play around with this a little bit more, but I'm going to test plus 1 hour to see what that does. Now, repeat frequency, there is no repeat frequency in this case. There might be for you, then you can add it. All details as well. Is it all day? No, I can change the color as it appears on my calendar if I wish. And here I can add the attendees so that they will also receive the calendar invite and our appointment on their Google Calendar. So what I can do is, as attendees, add my leads email address, and I can choose if I want to add some other email addresses of mine. In this case, it's a Google Calendar invite, so it has my email address already because it is my calendar, but I can add another or my own email address as well if I like. Now, visibility, reminders. Yes, I want reminders. Email reminders. Guests can modify the event, yes or no. It's all up to you what you want to do here, right? Just showing you a couple of options. Continue. Now, the last thing we want to do to make sure it all works and it recognizes the field is to test this run. So I'm going to click test and continue. And indeed, it is good that I have tested this because it has a little error. We cannot set custom reminders unless we use default reminders, which is set to no. That makes sense. So I'm going to have to go back in to set up action and find default reminders. It is set to yes, though. We couldn't find any more choices. Let me leave it just as default reminders and see what it does if I test this again. Now, let's see. A detailed event was successfully sent to Google Calendar about 8 seconds ago. Now, let's take a look at my calendar to see what this actually looks like. And indeed, we can see the event right here. I see I forgot a little space here. It has the Zoom link. it has invited the attendees, and it has the details right here, again with the Zoom link added. Now, the only thing I do notice is that it didn't add the extra hour, so that's something I would need to play around with a little bit more. If I really mind, I can also, of course, add the duration to the description to make that more clear. But this is one thing we can do with webhooks and notifications inside Genius Messenger CRM. Pretty sweet, right? Now, the last two things we want to do is name your Zap if you haven't already. Again, I recommend using the same name as you use for the website inside Genius Messenger CRM, so you will be able to recognize which belong together. Then when you've given your Zap a title or a name, all you want to do is make sure it's switched on. So whenever you set up your next notification using this webhook, it actually works and runs and takes the action we want it to take. Now, of course, if you want to add multiple steps and multiple actions, you can go on, click the plus, and add new actions or new steps to your Zap. It works the exact same. It just depends on what action you wanted to complete. Hope this video was helpful. In the next one more webhook video to show you how we can use webhooks for labels.